All right.
See, I can't do that part.
All right, once again, we clearly don't need our chip tunes. We've got Paul, Deadly Pencils, and Rob providing the theme tune. My name is Steve. This is episode 210. We've entitled it Berg Force. Wow. We've entitled it Berg Force Battles 01. The reason for that will become apparent hopefully towards the second half of this podcast. But before that, gentlemen, another week has passed. What's new up in G.I. Joburg?
Well, I nearly got half vaccinated for this COVID virus thing, so that was a fun experience. Going back
hooked up to 2.5G.
Heck yeah, dude! We're halfway to 5G. I'm feeling good. First few days my arm was a bit sore, but otherwise, yeah, I'm doing pretty good now. So it was nice to get a day off work as well.
They gave you the whole day.
The whole day just to go and get injected. Well, I suppose they thought, if something's going to happen, rather not be at work.
Don't you have to stand in queues? I know here in Joburg you have to stand in queues. It's you get a booking, and it still takes about an hour or two anyway. So
actually no. I mean, fortunately, where I went was in town, the city center at the Cape Town International Convention Center, and I went in the afternoon. And there were no queues. I think we were in and out in 30 minutes, 40 minutes maybe. And half of that obviously is just sitting there after you're getting the shot. Because, they got to see straight away if you're going to keel over and die.
No, I suggest for jab number 2 that you take a half day and then take the other half day the day after you get the jab. Just a pro
just
tip.
In case.
What, brother? The second Pfizer is the one that really kicks your ass.
FYI. Oh, goodness. Pfizer was the one I got, yeah.
And here I am I'm too cool for that shit. I'm hardcore, man. It doesn't affect me. I'm not sore or anything. Man,
I'll be okay.
I was broken. Anyways.
Shit.
Pandemic talk over. Let's not waste time on that new shit, boys. Just one item for me. I pulled the trigger on that second bloody Snake Eyes from that same ridiculously bad seller. I did it. And I asked him at the time, I was like, you do recall you said you'd refund me my postage on the return, right? He's like, no, man, you're getting a great deal with the second one. You're not getting any money out of me. I'm like, okay, fine. Now, in that situation, would you gents ever go as far as give negative feedback?
It was a weird situation. I actually don't even know what I would do.
Well, to bring everyone up to speed, because this is kind of bridging 2 episodes now. In the last episode, I chronicled the tale of a Snake Eyes that I bought at a nice price. It was a 1.5 1983 swivel arm Snake Eyes. Wanted to do it for review purposes, but also because I'm kind of in the goggles camp right now. I don't know if I'll get back to visor ever, to be honest, with the way my current head is at. Anyways, besides the point, the Snake Eyes arrived and it had evidently been doctored. It had been an attempt had been made to drill out a frozen screw, and the screw had actually pushed further into the torso and hadn't quite punctured out the other side, but had raised this nice little bump in the front of the torso. Anyways, I said, listen, mate, this isn't a used toy. This is a damaged toy. It should have been disclosed. I'm not happy. What are we going to do? He agreed to the refund. And I returned the toy to him. And at the time, I was like, listen, dude, I'll pay the postage right now, but I'm returning this to you. You should refund me the return postage. And he's like, yeah, sure, just return me my toy. Now it turns out he's changed his tune. He's like, no, forget it, man. You got a great deal on the other one. So anyways, negative feedback or no? Or neutral? What would you guys do?
I would say neutral or no, because it's a difficult situation. I mean, he's losing money on the sale now as well, so he's in a bad place already. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think let's put it this way. What constitutes a bad seller to me is if the picture, yes, his pictures were bad, but they weren't like horribly misleading. It's
Oh
not
yeah,
like,
look,
yeah.
no,
You-
to be
you
honest,
wanted-
I took a chance on it, and the fact that no one else had bid, like it was a bid that an auction that ended on one bid, mine. No one else was prepared to roll the dice and either come up snake eyes or not. So I have myself to blame partially, but like he was just being a bullshit asshole, wasn't he? He was like, "Yeah, man, you're getting great value. Like you could make that much off just selling like the arms and the crotch." I'm like, I don't want to. I want the toy. Anyways, I've made up my mind, and I mean, well, Rob, do you want to weigh in? What would you have done? Would you have hit him with some negative feedback?
I maybe not negative, but like neutral. Kind of like laying it out. Like the pictures weren't the best, but I mean, it's all stuff that he can improve. I mean, it might have been a bit sketchy that he kind of realized that the figure wasn't the best. But I think
the pictures were out of focus on purpose. I'm pretty sure. Like he knew he was wanting to mislead someone.
I think Bart puts it best in the comments. Negative feedback only if you never buy from him again.
Oh
so
yeah,
if you have no intention of ever buying from him again, then yeah, like just put it out there. Like improve your pictures, dude. Be honest in your in your assessment of these things.
Look, I know the damage that negative feedback can do to a seller, so I kind of reserve that for someone who's really just been mean or been hasty with me and really just like really pissed me off. But this guy, I think he's just a bit, I don't know, a bit combative and maybe a little bit of an unsophisticated kind of seller. Like he's not a practiced hand at this. He's going to feed you your own opinion. And why did I buy from him a second time? Well, because I'm over it. And also this kind of item very seldom crops up on eBay Australia and has never come up in any of the sort of the Facebook claim sales that I see happening week to week. So maybe it just never arrived here. Maybe this is from an international collection. Who knows? But it's mine now, for good or for bad.
Well, now you have it. I mean, Ron also has a more kind of like level-headed response to this. Fuzzy pictures versus good deal in the second chance. Perhaps just leave no feedback. Just leave it at that. You're neither hurting him nor helping him.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say as well. Like, there's no reason. Like, you got what you ordered. It wasn't like a case of you got ordered a snake eyes and then what you actually got was some 5 POA plastic thing or whatever's, like he didn't completely mislead you and he didn't make himself scarce, when you wanted to complain. Like I see that a lot on the Facebook groups where people order stuff and they name and shame people. And I'm like, yo, that is hectic. I mean, I've never had to give a bad eBay review in my life before ever, but the closest I ever came was when I got my Cobra Condor and it was in 2 plastic bags. It wasn't even like properly securely, put in the box. Yeah, that irritated me. So that seller got 4 out of 5 stars and eBay sent me a whole bunch of questions and whatever's about that. And
Paul, you are
wait a minute, you didn't give 5 stars? What's going on here?
I have given negative feedback twice. Both times were when they really, really pissed me off. The first was I had won the auction and they had I had paid for the item and they had unilaterally withdrawn it and given it to the second highest bidder because they thought that I was having it sent out of the country when I specifically changed my shipping address to reflect a local destination anyway. So that was just idiocy on their part, and I felt very butthurt that I didn't get a Tiger Force Outback for only £30. Anyways, the second time was someone who didn't put a reserve on the auction. So when I won a massive lot for like $10, they were like, no, sorry, I'm not giving this to you for $10. I was like, really?
Yeah, that's your fault, buddy.
That's on you. Oh my goodness. Matthew in the chats recalls that Tiger Force Outback incident from my blog. Matt, you are a true G.I. Joe historian, man. That's incredible.
This seller's an idiot.
Gents, let's leave this very, very fertile topic clearly for now, we'll just leave it behind and shift focus to a section that I'm gonna start. This is a new G.I. Joe Berg.
Well, before we get there, can I say my new thing?
No, Paul, no.
No,
Okay,
no
Paul,
stuff.
you can stop this train. Go for it.
Okay.
Yay.
What motor figure did you buy this week?
How does he know this stuff? Okay, so yeah. So one thing I had to pick up was because they're becoming scarce in South Africa now. Actually, is Ram Man, because at first you could find Ram Man everywhere, but I think every Motu collector in South Africa has realized that they've now left Ram Man for the last, and now they are buying them because they're becoming increasingly more difficult to find. So I thankfully found one, the last one, I'll have you know, in the toy shop in Cresta. So I'm very happy with my Ram Man purchase. And it surprised me with a feature I didn't realize it had, which is pretty cool. You can link the two weapons together and you can turn it in, like kind of an axe staff thing. It's madness. It's absolutely madness.
That is wild.
It is.
Does he
wild.
still ram? Does he still have a feature?
Yes, he's got a little feature, and at least this time his legs can bend, which is also pretty rad. So,
He can ram
Sacrilege.
lower.
He can ram low. So there's
Skip
that.
ram.
Cool. And then the other thing I got was a microwave. Yay!
That's
On the same day
awesome.
as buying Ram Man, I got a microwave. And and then I've got some very cool stuff coming over the next 2 months,
A kettle?
which I'm very excited about. No, I've got the kettle already. We made sure we had a kettle first. That was like
An air fryer?
Not yet. That's coming.
Sure.
Yeah, no, that's something I
Good
do
stuff
want.
coming.
But I've got some cool stuff coming over the next 2 months, and I've already started shooting some footage, which I wanted to release earlier this week, but I really couldn't just because it's been absolutely madness. And I'm dying to open this damn toy, so it's killing me that I can't finish my footage and do this and release the thing. But anyway, I've got 3 very cool toys to open in the next week that you will be able to catch in the next 2 weeks, which I'm very excited about sharing with everybody. And they are G.I. Joe related, and that's all I will say. So yeah, that's it for me for new stuff that matters. Otherwise, yes, Stephen, onwards to our new G.I. Joe Berg section. I'm very excited about this.
Okay. Well, hopefully we can do the theme tune in like 3-part harmony eventually. I need to coach you guys, but it's like, what are you playing? What are you reading? What are you watching? Yeah?
Yeah.
We'll do it next time. But basically, I want to rope Rob in because I know that he's not actively collecting any toys right now. But hey, it's not like he's stopped breathing.
Living. Yeah.
Oh, wait, he's gone. Oh, God. That's hilarious.
Rob. Where
I mean, that was very sudden. Like he maybe just yanked his Wi-Fi cable or something.
There he
Oh,
is.
there he is.
He has returned.
Hey.
Rob is
Hi.
back.
This cable is just becoming looser and looser. It's just ridiculous. I can barely touch my computer and it'll be like boop. No internet for you.
Yeah, Hans.
Yes.
It was a cable. Hans Chow in the chat. He's like, it was a cable. Bot's like, he pulled his cable out. MCDJ ACDC says chocolate ice cream with a scary face.
Andrew is totally married to that handle, but did it make me snigger every time like someone like HCC 788 had to say it? Because it takes you a little bit of a while. You kind of stumble over it a couple of times before it rolls off the tongue. Case in point, you did, Paul. Anyways, shall we get back on track, boys? I was going to say,
what are you playing?
What are you playing? What are you watching? What are you reading? Rob, what are you doing with your time these days, man?
What am I doing with my time? I've kind of gotten back into Final Fantasy 14,
Yes,
the online game, and that's been really cool. I've been enjoying it. I'm a bit like reticent to kind of do like group stuff. I'm still kind of like getting used to playing the game again.
What, are you a level 17 elf or whatever?
No, mine's actually, well, they're essentially like they're called Lalafels, but they're like tiny little people.
Are you playing a Lalafell?
Yes, I
Cool.
am. They're very cute. And I've unlocked
Might
all
as
of the
well
different
have-
classes.
You might as well say elf then. Come on. Oh, it's pretty
No,
close.
there are elves in the game, but they're called Elezen. But mine's like a short one. Elves are like super tall. But anyway, so I'm doing that. I'm still watching old school Star Trek. I'm watching also Deep Space Nine and The Next Generation. Keeping up with Rick and Morty. The episodes are kind of hit and miss this season. But when they're good, they're good. But when they're bad, they're just like, okay.
Rick and Morty is a show that I absolutely cannot watch after, a busy day of fathering a child and then being horizontal on the couch. It's very dense. Like the gag intensity on Rick and Morty is like, I think every half second. Like the script is dense. The visual gags are crazy. The science concepts that they try to parody, it's almost a little too academic for me, man.
But I mean, in this most recent season, it's become a lot more straightforward, kind of. I mean, it's kind of like obvious what they're parodying, so it's not as dense, I think, as it has been before. Or maybe I'm missing those overtones. I'm just ram-manning through these episodes, essentially.
I see what you did.
I was handed a book about the science of Rick and Morty, and
good lord,
actual science, man. They like all of the theories and the kind of the science fiction stuff that is kind of incorporated into Rick and Morty. Like every episode kind of is deeply embedded in theoretical science, and I'm speaking way beyond my ken, but people have written books about the bloody animated show.
Rick and Morty is the new Star Trek. I mean, they wrote tons of books about Star Trek back in the day. That's crazy.
Excellent. Paulie, what's rocking your world in the media?
I just finished a game called Jedi Fallen Order. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, that's the one with the redhead, right?
Yes. And he's actually a very cool character, old Cal Kestis. I like him. I actually like him as a Jedi. I thought they did a great job. I thought the writers did a great job with that character, personally. And the game is fun. It's like if you guys are curious, it's like a diet version of something like Sekiro or Dark Souls. It's a lot more forgiving than those games, but it has the same sort of challenge to it. And so the game is very focused on on combat, on parrying. And I find that, I feel that it uses the Force well, and it explains the Force well, which I quite enjoyed. And yeah, it was just really, really great. It was kind of like the Star Wars movie I felt like I needed. And I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. It's just like a bit of a missing link. So I've recently finished that. That was great. It was really, really cheap on the PlayStation Store, like 250 Rand, which I think is like $15. So yeah, I couldn't pass that up. And what am I watching? This TV series called The Sinner. I know it seems very but it's really good. It's about a detective. It's a detective series. Celia got me into it, so I've been checking it out.
That's what I was about to ask, Paul. Is it a couples viewing kind of show?
No. Something that she watched and that she's been encouraging me to watch. So I've been watching it while I've been working. And it's very good. It's very wordy and stuff. So it's great. Like there's a lot. It's almost like listening to an audiobook, which is cool. And then
perfect for leaving on in the background while you're busy doing something that has your attention. Brilliant.
Yeah. So I've been doing that, and then as for reading, I don't often sit down and read much these days, but I have been re-listening to Dune, the audiobook. So yeah.
Okay, getting ready for the movie.
Yeah, because I can't wait. Yeah, so yeah, that's me. Oh, and I finished Transformers Kingdom, which I thoroughly enjoyed
it myself. Paul, where were the Bony Boys?
I was also like, where are the Bony Boys? There were no Bony Boys. I was like watching out throughout the whole movie. I was like, well, they're not transforming, so they might as well give me bones.
Yeah, man, it was weird because I mean those bone transformer weapon kits that you can get totally need some additional explanation, and I was totally expecting to get it from the show, and they never showed up. Transformers in animation typically shows you the stuff that you need the gaps filled in on, Energon. Was it Energon or was it Armada? No, it was Armada that first introduced the Minicons, right? And the sort of play pattern that you got from the toys was a concept that was explained in the show. So similarly, I was expecting with the Kingdom toys, the fact that you've got these bone transformers that become weapons, I was expecting that to somehow be a thing, and it just totally wasn't. And yeah, absolutely. Like, I think I watched Optimus Primal actually transform on screen once. It became a bit of a running gag that like they leap out of frame in their robot modes, and then the very next cut they leap back into frame and they're in their beast modes. I mean, come on. The reason you watch Transformers animated stuff is to see the transformations. Like, we would tune into Beast Wars back in the day for that reason alone, to see your toys transforming on screen. Anyways, it was not a bad show. I didn't think it was. I finally watched the very last episode of G.I. Joe Extreme. So I think it was like early last year. I joined Joe Slepsky on one of his episodes of Joe on Joe, where they were doing the rewatches of G.I. Joe Extreme, him and a guest. And I guested on one of the episodes, and as a result of that, and actually the reason I wanted to guest on the show is because he would then give you access to his shared folder of the Extreme episodes, which he bought.
That's extreme.
He bought a rip of like basically VHSs recorded from the TV back in the day, because guess what? No one has ever done a collection, a digital remaster of G.I. Joe Extreme. Like, this does not exist in popular culture at all, except for like dusty old VHS pirated copies. So it's very old school. It's very cool. And ironically, at the end of the episodes, there was a commercial for the Beast Wars animated show. So tying it back to that golden era. And yeah, the show ended adequately. Interestingly enough, they go back to the well of the Sunbow cartoon, and they end it with an episode that is pretty much beat for beat The Traitor. You remember when Dusty turns Cobra? Yeah. Okay, not beat for beat. It's a few beats less than that. That was a far more complex tale. But yeah, Metalhead, the G.I. Joe Metalhead, becomes an agent of Scar, which is interesting, and then manages to take down the whole organization from the inside. And then that's it. G.I. Joe Extreme done.
Madness.
Bart in the chat wants to know if Duke goes into a coma. No, Lieutenant Stone has his head bandaged. So there's a weak imitation of Duke's coma. But yeah, like I say, it's like The Traitor, but with a few plot beats missing. And I've just been watching a show called James May's Toy Stories, which I realize is like 11 years old now, but it's James May from Top Gear, probably at the height of his popularity, had this side show called Toy Stories where they do focuses on classic toy properties. And the first episode was Airfix model kits, in which he has a bunch of 13-year-olds building a 1-to-1 scale Spitfire kit, which he has custom made out of fiberglass. Anywho, the point of the story, this episode had me laughing my head off for about 5 minutes when James May, who'd gone to these kind of, I don't know, these aircraft replica manufacturers, and he's kind of poking his head into one of the fuselages, and clearly there's a South African on the construction team, because there's a very rude, very specifically South African word scrawled on the inside of this fuselage. And James's production team evidently were completely oblivious to the fact that they've got Captain Slow peering into this cockpit, talking, his typical chipper British well-spoken monologues. And meanwhile, he's effectively got the South African equivalent of the C-bomb, like right under his head.
No.
I laughed, my bro. I laughed my head off. Anyways, that's me up to speed on what I've been watching this week past. Paul, do you want to play a game or do you want to see a toy? I know. It's tough question.
I want to see a toy.
Let's see this toy. Whoosh. What?
Oh, that. Yes.
Okay,
that
this is the G.I. Joe Furai Snake Eyes model kit. Now, what is everyone's opinion on building G.I. Joe model kits?
That's a model kit?
That is a model kit, Rob, my man.
That's wild. I think that could be quite cool. Because, I mean, depending on the company, it would probably be like building Gundams.
Gundam kit. So it's Furai models. It's Flame Toys. They do the Transformer models. I don't know if you've seen them at all.
And is it is that plastic color or is it painted? Okay. No, because the surface of it is so high gloss that, I mean, it looks like a finished toy. You know how Gundam model kits, like you can leave them unpainted if you are me and have no skill, or you can really like go ballistic with them and have a really beautiful result with
like
all the...
Paul does.
Like Paul does. But these Furai model kits do appear to not invite painting because they are, I mean, the plastic color is so great.
It's black. So
there's a dark gray plastic used as well. In fact, I'd say there are multiple tones of gray. So you're looking at quite a few different runners of parts. But yeah, Paul, tell me.
I'm excited at the concept of G.I. Joe model kits. I'll say I'm more amped for vehicles when they do them. I'd actually be even more excited if they were doing scaled vehicles, like a really high detailed vamp or something as a model kit. I'd absolutely kill for something like that. But this Snake Eyes is cool. But there's another one that BBTS hasn't displayed yet. It's the Katakuri or something version, and it's like super cyber. It's like Snake Eyes, but he's like cybered up. It's kind of like the way I've drawn our avatar on the Facebook page. And that appeals to me a lot more. Like I'm more excited about building that kit because I can really get into there. So like as a builder, what doesn't appeal to me about this is that there's nothing I can do to this figure that would make it better than what you're kind of seeing here now. Like out of the box, this is a pretty good looking toy.
And to most G.I. Joe toy fans, that is actually a turn on. Like the fact that you aren't having to obsess and OCD yourself to sleep every night, like thinking, oh man, maybe I could improve upon this kit. No. This is ready to play with, which is appealing in my books.
Yeah, I mean, there's that side of it totally, and that's why I think they were smart to release this one first. I'm looking forward to the other one because I get to really have fun with the colors there. I get to do a little bit of weathering. The problem is on a figure like Snake Eyes, like especially on this, your weathering is limited to your weapons and your gear and whatever's, and so that's where a lot of the appeal sort of falls away for me.
It seems like they've weathered the blade already. Like it's got a silver paint. By the looks of it, it looks like they've hit it with some paint.
Which is something that they did with the Transformers toys as well. The Transformers kits, they've already got
a lot of value for $45, which is what BBTS is pre-ordering them at.
Yeah, so that's like the standard price for those Flame Toys kits. Yeah, they're generally between $35 and $45. Look, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a rad thing. It's rad that it's happening. Also, I don't know if you saw there's a motorbike as well that you can buy as a kit. And
the
you can
speed
build it up
cycle?
And then I think it could be that. Could be called that. But they've done an actual motorbike vehicle that you build as a kit and then it's compatible with the Snake Eyes. So that's exciting.
Rob, as someone who enjoyed Gundam kits back in the day, would you endorse a product like this?
I think it could be fun.
$45?
Yeah, I mean, that's like 700 Rand. I think that's pretty decent. I mean, that's about the price that we sell Gundams in our store for on average. And depending on the scaling, I mean, it could be quite cool. It's just it's interesting to kind of build a character, a person instead of a robot. I think that's the only thing. It's kind of like it's like a bit weird because then obviously when it's finished, it's a toy, and then the toy is out of scale with everything else.
Well, look, it's nothing new.
Everything else that I own.
Star Wars had like stormtroopers and You build a
Oh, those
Darth
are so
Vader.
cool.
You enjoyed those a bit, Paul.
Yeah, you can switch them out with Gundam heads.
Yeah.
Going to make up a 5.2 inches tall figure, so it's not going to scale with your classified guys, sadly. It's going to be just a little too short.
He'll just
That's
have
an interesting
to
size.
sit with the Gundam kits, I suppose.
It
he'll
seems
be
like
a
it
giant
sits in with
robot.
the. It seems like scale wise, it sits in with the Figma series of toys. So like, if you are somebody that's been collecting like Figma stuff, like Solid Snake or whatever's, then I think it's going to fit in nicely with that scale. Although it's a bit too soon to say, I'd have to see it in hand to see if its proportions sort of line up with that scale as well. But yeah, that's pretty cool. If you're like a Figma collector, then that's pretty good. It's kind of the middle point, between having a modern era Joe and a classified Joe, I suppose. So.
And Paul,
There it
you
is.
wanted to have a look at the speed cycle. I'm sharing it on the YouTube version right now. It's a beast. My goodness, it's red.
It's a cool looking bike.
Black with red accents. It's got the Arashikage right low on the chassis. Yeah, the mag wheels are in red, of course. It's pretty. It's a hell of a beast.
Yeah, and I wonder
and you can arm it. You can put some machine guns on the side. Fantastic. And it looks like Snake Eyes is fully compatible. There's a place to store his sword sheaths. There's a stand that looks like like a workshop stand. Nice. And the retail on that, ladies and gentlemen, also $44.99 from BBTS. So not a bad 1-2 combo for $100.
Does the bike look a bit thin? I don't know. I mean, what do like power bikes look like?
As somebody who built super bikes when I was younger as model kits, not the real ones, I can say that it is a little bit thinner, but that is to accommodate the figure, because the originals are fat boys, they got and
to make a like figure huge.
Yeah, and they would have to go the extra mile. Like, for example, if they wanted to give this bike like a proper, should I say, chubbiness to it, then you would have to do a thing on the model kit where you take out the inner thighs, where you replace a part on the inner thighs so that it fits on the bike properly. And I think that would take away a lot of the fun, personally. So
you just want to pop him on there and let him ride whenever he wants to.
Exactly. And Hans Charles says, not having a silver Mirage scheme is a missed opportunity if you don't paint. Yes, I agree. I think because it does kind of have a silver Mirage aesthetic to it. But you could paint it up like that. I mean, that's a metal flak. I mean, you could even buy, just to do it up quickly, you could buy the Tamiya. There's like a not stainless steel. There's like a brushed aluminium or metallic silver, whatever you could use for that. Which is specifically for the super bikes. I think the R1 has that color scheme. They've got a spray paint that is exactly that color scheme, which would work well for the Mirage. Anyway,
if you are modifying the Furai speed cycle to be a Silver Mirage, this is just another sad case of like having to sand away the Arashikage badge. Like, I understand that branding is important, and like the hexagram is a cool symbol. It's a great graphic, but it's always going to come back to haunt me that this is a ninja clan. This is a secret organization. They do not need to put it on their bikes and cars and like shoulders. No, man. Anyways, I
think
understand
that's just
that it's also
toy
visual
allowance, obviously.
And also, like, on the one hand, you've got like visual appeal of like having a pop of color. Like Snake Eyes would be all black, this movie version, if it wasn't for just a splash of red on the Arashikage logo. But yeah, I find myself more often than not wanting to remove these personally. So this would be another instance where if you want to make it a Silver Mirage, that's your first step. You've got to take out the sandpaper and
maybe it's a licensing thing.
Putty or something, yeah.
Maybe it's a licensing thing where they have to put something on there to make it stand out from a generic vehicle.
Totally. And this being a slightly smaller scaled bike and being a street bike, it's probably going to look quite a bit smaller than the the ram that's coming with Breaker in the Classified series. That's my guess. But that works in my mind. Like a street bike should be smaller than whatever the ram is, even though it looks like, you know, super futuristic
tank bike.
Tech bike. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, if you looked at the bike, is it the coil cycle that came with Baroness, whatever it is? That thing was like monstrous. It was like something you'd expect to see in Final Fantasy. Or at the very least, something Batman would drive if it was black. So yes, these bikes, the scaling's all over the place. But hey, dial the clocks back 30 years, and we absolutely loved the Cobra Ferret, and that's a pretty beastly quad, isn't it?
Yeah, another bike tank.
Yeah. Well, it's a tank killer, man. The original sticker has like a tank sort of etched and like the kill markings. So clearly, like the humble ferret is designed with one purpose in mind, and that's to blow holes in
Kill
tanks.
tanks. Yeah.
Watch out, Nobat. Gents, let's shift it along, shall we?
Welcome. Okay, cool. So I've been playing around with this concept for a while, and what's going to happen now is I'm going to put you guys into Bergforce Battles. It's kind of a role-playing / card game that I've sort of been playing around with, and I'm using G.I. Joe as the vehicle for it. And with there being news of a G.I. Joe card game or board game or something coming out, I was a little bit kicked in the pants to sort of get this out and, you know, just for us to have fun with it, because this is something I used to have a lot of fun with when I was a kid with my toys. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to make that full screen. Cool. So you guys should all be able to see. So what will happen is I'm going to be playing I'm going to be the games master. Can't use Dungeon Master. I'm sure that's copyrighted. And yeah, so I'm going to brief you guys as we go through it. And if you have questions, ask me questions, because this is very much a tester. It is very loose. There's a lot of stuff here that might be broken. Game balance might not be 100%. And every bit of art on this with the, is pretty much placeholder art, which I've sourced from various free sites, some not so free. And also there are some images here that are courtesy of 3D Joe's. But you know, if you guys want to check out those the coolness of G.I. Joe, go and check out 3D Joe's. So at least they get a bit of an ad plug-in from that. But anyway, here we go. So what happens is, under normal circumstances, I would shuffle an environment deck and I would bring it out, and then you would have a random environment to play in. So the environment you're in now is the swamp. Dun dun dun. And it means, yeah, so what that means is all wheeled vehicles lose 3 movement, all boots on the ground lose 2 to movement, which means it's harder for you to evade an attack. This game does require a 20-sided dice. I have got a digital one sitting here on Google. The stats. Cool.
Just so everyone knows, Rob and I had no idea what we were getting ourselves into tonight. We've been blindsided. We expected a podcast. We're now playing a role-playing game.
Hey, it's been a while.
And what I'm going to totally do is, as we go through this, I'm going to give some of these cards sneakishly to our Bergforce members so that they can also start playing interference in the game. That's where the sort of random aspect of the role-playing comes in. So that's going to be exciting. So first up, let's go. Scoop and Shockwave are
that's us.
They're in the swamp, and they've heard that there's some kind of enemy presence here, so they've been sent to investigate. I don't know why specifically Scoop and Shockwave, but you know, it's our podcast and we can do what we want. So just to get into the stats of the cards quickly, and just so you understand the card. So this is a hero card. This is so you'll be playing as a character. He is a gunner, and a gunner will always get +1 to firepower when you are in cover.
This is Shockwave, just for our podcast listeners.
That's correct. Yeah. So looking at Shockwave, so the gunner gets +1 to firepower in cover. That's this here, which is your attack. Sorry, it's meant to be called attack. He can fire from any position. That means that you can fire straight from being a loose card on the board, like he is now currently, or you can go into cover and fire out of cover. This is important because some characters can't actually fire out of cover. And he adds +1 to a vehicle's attack firepower if he's added in the gunner position. So if he was in the gunning position of a Warthog, he would add +1 to the vehicle's attack. Cool. His special skills are he can mount to enemy cover to flush enemies out. So you could put this card onto cover if there's enemy there, and you would kick them all out, which would make them more vulnerable because they'd lose their stats. And he adds 2 points to armor when attached to any Viper, Trooper, or Leader. Okay, so that's a whoopsie. That's just because I've been making the cards and I made the Viper first. But basically, he would, if you squad up with him, if you put 2 cards together, you can squad up. And then it'll add 2 points to both of their armor stats, to their defense. So they'd both get 62 as opposed to just having 60. But that will change as I'm playing around with things. Like I said, there's some stuff that's broken. We're going to have a look at Scoop quickly. And this is important for now because as I introduce you guys to things, it will you can at least understand.
Scoop's a gunner? Oh, please.
Yeah, so he's just got... I made him...
is a piss taker, Paul. You weren't around back in the day, but let me tell you, man, like Alistair would get so pissed off with Rob every time he selected Scoop because he's like, no, we're going on a mission. You bring a camera. Like Alistair literally was the cliche on Scoop's file card that like when he's on the mission with the Joes, everyone's like on his case. Like, why are you here? And he's here to crack jokes, ladies and gentlemen. That is his purpose.
That's the whole point. That's
to
why
take that piss. So yeah, Gunner is not accurate. Piss taker, that's the one.
he's probably had to, streamline things a little bit.
I've had to create a class of characters. So he's a gunner.
It's not true to reality.
Again, he gets +1 to firepower in cover and +1 to vehicle attack if added to a gunner position. And he can fire from any position, so from cover or loose on the board. But his skills are unique. He's got battlefield analysis. He can, as a player, you can target an enemy. Instead of attacking an enemy, you can target them. And that enemy will lose 3 movement during the turn, which is a great strategy because you could target, Scoop could target an enemy, and it makes it harder for the enemy to dodge Shockwave's shots. So that's cool. And then, same thing. Scoop shot. No, Scoop won't shoot. So Scoop, when you use that, so when you use a skill, you have to choose what you do. You either use a skill or you use an attack or you do a movement. So movement is any like going from no cover to cover and then going from cover to cover. So that's
May I just say that from a design perspective, now I know there's a deck building G.I. Joe card game in the works, but from a design perspective, I find having the actual figures pictured so much more appealing. Even though they're just in front of a blank background on your cards, I'm really loving this presentation. And that's not a knock against the excellent artists that they've tapped for this deck building game. But I'm like, personally, what really tickles my fandom is to have the toys. Just give me a cool Dio shot of the toys, like individually, like mug-shotted like this. Perfect.
Heck yeah, dude. Feels more real.
So how the game flow is going to go is you've got your environment into play and you've got your heroes into play. Your first turn is nothing for now. Normally what I'll do is you would draw cards to get equipment or to attach skills to your characters, but not today. I don't have them loaded up yet. This is where the audience members would come in. So what happens is, now I'm going to take you through the story. You guys have both been put into this area. You're doing reconnaissance to try and find the presence of the enemy. And you hear something. And so normally what we would do in a role-playing situation is I would say, roll for perception or something like that. And then we would roll. And then you would spot this guy, a Viper. So now we got a Viper in play. Okay, so... the Viper, so you guys, just so you know, he's a gunner just like you. He's got 20 health, he's got 5 movement, and he's got 3 attack. Cool, so you spot him. And then these stars are for experience points, but we'll get into that as I evolve things. Anyway, cool, so you guys see a Viper. He hasn't seen you yet. What do? Who wants to go first?
Well, I do have the firepower, but we're both gunners, so I mean,
knock him out. Kill him.
Yeah.
You want to attack him? Okay, cool. So let's see. I've got a D20 here. I got a D10. Sorry.
What are our options? What are the alternatives to attacking?
Okay,
Can
so
we
you can
observe him with our
Yeah,
camera.
so if Rob wants to, Rob can do a battlefield analysis, and then he will lose movement. And
he won't even realize it. He'll be like, I feel like I'm being watched. I'm
Watched.
feeling really self-conscious right now. I better move slow.
So what will happen is if Steve, for example, so Rob, you would roll your battlefield analysis. I need to actually create a proper stat skill, but let's say you have to roll between 1 and 5 to get it. So I'm going to roll for you. Rob rolls analysis. Yeah, he gets a 5. Cool. The analysis is a bonus. Shame. The poor Viper is now locked. He cannot move. He's got 2 to his stats now, as opposed to 5. And he's going to return fire. So I'm going to roll him. He has to get between 1 and 3 to actually hit you. Let's roll. Oh, he botched it. He missed you completely, which messes up his turn. What do you guys want to do next?
And Scoop's only wearing bright yellow. Come on, Viper.
All right.
You need to get that faceplate checked.
It's hot and humid in the swamp.
Quit trying to wear those goggles, man. Okay, well, I mean, now his goose is cooked. He's a sitting duck. It's time to take him out with my suppressed 9mm.
Cool. Okay, let's see. You hit him with, you also have to roll up to 3 to make sure your attack wins. So let's see.
Can I sneak on him? Like, is there a more surreptitious way of getting this guy?
Well, technically you are doing that. You're sneaking in on him to shoot at him.
Yeah, the cameraman in yellow is drawing his fire.
So you've rolled 1 out of 3. So you had to roll between 1 and 3 to hit him. You've hit him for 3 damage. So he's lost 20, 19, 18. So he's got 17 HP left. Technically, I should have rolled his stats to protect him. So I should have rolled, he's got 2 movement stats. But let's just theoretically roll. If he gets
is this comic continuity or is this cartoon continuity? Because like we might have to take him prisoner. Like, we can't kill this guy.
No, well, what you've done is you've hit him. So now it's the character phase. Okay, so now what he's going to do is something's come into the board. Something's coming into the play now. Hold on. It is. Another Viper has come into play. Yeah, I'm playing another Viper, and I've drawn a very cool cover card. Yeah, we've got cover. So what happens is, so cover works like this. All attached units will get +1 movement while in cover, which means that it can evade your shots better. And all attached units will get +4 defense. So their defensive skill will go up. They will get 4 HP on top of that. And then if you're looking at the cabin, it's a swamp cabin for our listeners. You've got 5, 5, and 5. These are your armor points. So you guys as players can specifically attack these points. If you damage 1 point, if you damage them, it will lose. Obviously, it loses its total. If you manage to hit the critical and damage it, then you can actually destroy its movement. You can take away all of its stats. So if you hit the critical point, it will lose all the attached guys will lose their bonuses. They will lose cover and they will lose any movement bonuses offered to them by the cover. So what happens is
bad feeling about a swamp about a shack in the swamp, dude. That's...
You should do. So
yeah, is there some holography in play? And also, we're dealing with Vipers, and I've got Scoop beside me. Like, is there going to be a situation where, like, Scoop is like, hold on, I'm a Crimson God. And he goes over there, and the Viper turns around. He's like, my name's Felix Stratton. You can call me Mercer.
Hey.
Yeah, this could get very interesting.
So now this Viper, who was low on stats, he's jumped into cover. Okay, so cover is interesting because as soon as you jump to cover, you can fire. So he's going to make no, I lied. He can't. He's gone into cover, which means he is baking in there, which means the other Viper that's come into play, he's going to attack Scoop.
No. Good luck, Robbo.
Let's see. He has to roll up to 3. Oh, he botched it. He missed the Scoop completely. Okay, so he can't attack anymore. And enemy turn is over. And you guys, let's see. I should have one more thing that should pop in. and you guys get awarded some cover. You guys discover cover as well.
Oof, thank
So cover has
goodness.
been played for you too.
Fight
Okay.
smart, boys. Fight smart. Now, does the Viper's weapon, is that somehow stacked a bit higher, like, than what we've got? Because it's a better gun. Let's be brutally honest here.
I would like to get into stuff like that. So what that'll be in future, that'll be an additional card. Okay, so that'll be like, so what I want to, not what I want to do, but I just want to plan as we're planning the gameplay balance. I want to do it that if you kill a Viper, you can attach his card to you, and then you have a Viper gun, which upgrades your gun.
Ooh, excellent.
Yeah.
Always been
Cool.
meaning
So-
to test drive one of those puppies.
One for each hand.
Okay, so I'm going to go over your skills quickly because I'm still coaching you on how to play. You've now
Choir boy, that would be my primary skill.
Okay, so okay, so you guys, your options are at this point. This is a movement phase. So in the movement phase, you can either move into cover or you can join together to create a squad. Okay, that's the one thing you can do. Another thing you can do in your movement phase, Shockwave has got a skill. And his skill is he can mount to enemy cover to flush enemies out. So what that essentially means is on this turn, you can actually jump yourself onto this cover, and then you can flush this Viper out if you feel like his stats are too high. Also, one thing to mention, you'll see there's a number here. It's a number 4. That means this can house up to 4 different guys at a time. Your cover here can house up to 2. So that means you guys can also both stack your cards into the cover as well, which will give you guys bonuses like you'll get +2 defense for you guys. And that's about it because it's a tree.
It's a big tree.
If Robin or if Scoop and I can flush the Viper from the shack, do we then get to inherit the cover?
Yeah. So that's actually a good question. Should you inherit the cover? Yeah, actually, you should be able to because there's only one Viper. Yeah, you should be able to flush it out. Yeah.
Well, if Scoop is a decent enough backup through the door, I think taking the fight to an internal environment is kind of Shockwave's MO. All this running around a bloody swamp is not suiting either of us. So let's get into that shack, toss in some flashbangs and flush out that Viper and take it over.
Viper's been flushed out of cover. You have been moved into cover. And there we go. Viper is into that. Okay, and
Good.
Viper is
now we got
flushed
some
out.
decent cover, man. Damn.
Cool. And you get a stats boost as well, because now that you're in cover, you get you now have 4 to your movement, which is also your evasion, and you get +4 to your defense. So you're now on 64 as opposed to just 60. And yeah,
what does Scoop get? A hole in the head.
Move into cover, unless Scoop actively says he wants to move into that cover, he can. Unless, of course, so now the next thing is what does Scoop want to do?
Jeez, 2-man fire team at least. I didn't want to go solo.
Yeah, I think I should definitely join you in there. It feels like it'll give us a really good advantage to actually be in cover.
Okay, good.
Where there are 2 Vipers, there's got to be some kind of vehicular support. We need
We need cover.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
Better than a damn tree. Jeez, Paul, you made a card for a tree.
Yeah, well, dude, there was also a big rock, but I didn't finish in time. Okay, so you guys have taken cover, which means your movement phase is over, and taking cover does actually stop. You can't do any attacks or anything. So now what happens is, I just want to keep the environment card there the whole time. Okay, so now what happens is it's the enemy turn. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, cool. So I draw my
Before
cards.
that, I just want to show some love to the participation in the comments. We've got great shouts for a surprise attack by Crocmaster, and then a great retaliation by Muskrat rising out of the swamp and shotgun blasting those Vipers. And then, of course, Cobra Moray Hydrofoil showing up and just riddling us all. So, yeah, no, the options are limitless. This really does become like a wonderful free-for-all. But anyways,
Cool.
back to the plot at hand. What have these Vipers got in store for us, Paulie?
Sweet. Okay, so I've drawn a card. Oh, lucky me. I've got a water moccasin. Dun, dun, dun. It's been brought into play. Cool. This Viper
Those twin
decides.
30s will pepper us, brother.
Yeah, so what happens is this Viper is going to mount the vehicle, which means he's going to get, and he's going to mount as a gunner. Actually, this is how this is supposed to work. Let me just grab this card quickly. Sorry, there we go. He's going to mount himself as the gunner, which means when a gunner is attacked, the Moccasin gets +4 to its attack, which means it now has a 9 to its attack, on top of the fact that it now gets a +1 as well. So it actually has 10 for attack now, because the Viper is now the gunner. The only thing is,
if you got really detailed, man, like it would affect the direction from which it can attack. Like it can vector its firepower only if it's got someone in the turret, because otherwise it has to just fire sort of center line.
So that is a consideration, because you'll see that with other vehicles that have weapons at the back, for example, having a gunner at the back actually improves its defense as well.
Stun.
Yeah, boy.
Right.
Cool. Okay, so that Viper
picking up what you're putting down.
Cool. This Viper takes some pot shots at your cover because now he's attacking. So he's going to try and attack the critical. So I'm just going to roll for him. He has to get between.
Get down.
He has to get between 1 and 3. The benefit of cover, guys, is that if somebody attacks you guys in cover, it doesn't matter if I want to attack Scoop or Shockwave. The cover will always take the damage, but then it will take the 5 on the sides. So on the 5 here where Shockwave is, if I attack Shockwave, the cover will take the damage before Shockwave does, and the same for Scoop. If I attack the actual cover, which is the critical here, I can actually destroy the cover. So I'm going to try and go for broke and destroy the cover. So let's see. I've got to roll at least anything between 1 and 3. I roll. Ooh, I get a 6. I botch it.
Oh, damn it. You should have used your grenade launcher, man.
Hey.
Damn.
So, cool. So now it's your player turn again. So, yeah, now you guys are in a position to attack and do whatever you need to do.
But I think it's your go, isn't it, Scoop?
I think so. Maybe we should. Ooh.
You guys, either one of you.
Maybe we should film something.
Well, I'm filming the whole time. I'm getting this all in for afterward intel. Maybe we should shoot at that Viper again. Before I don't know which one.
Can we put some holes in the boat, or is it zipping
around?
Oh,
you can totally put holes in the boat. Yeah, you can totally.
I don't think we've got a weapon that can adequately deal with a moccasin.
Doesn't matter. You've got a weapon. It's okay.
Well, we'll have to shoot out the guy in the turret. I mean, he's sticking out like a nice blue sore thumb with a silver target right in the front.
Okay, cool. So you're gonna shoot for. Okay, so I'm gonna roll for you. You get a 5, and let's just see. You should have a plus. No, yeah. Sorry, you missed your shots. You didn't hit anything critical. The moccasin lives again. Rob, what do you want to do?
Serves me right, trying to hit a moving target with this spray and pray submachine gun of mine. Damn.
I'll try and shoot it at 2. Why not? Let's see what happens.
You're even worse armed.
Let's see. Rolling. Rob gets it. Rob does 3 damage to the water moccasin on the right. So now it has a total of 60, 59, 58. It has 57 HP left. And it has 18 on this.
We're going to be here for a long time.
Don't worry. I'm like, I'm going to bring something in that's going to jostle everything. So cool. Anyway, Viper turn now. Cool. Sweet. I draw my card. Okay. Let me be fair. Who have I drawn? Crocmaster. Crocmaster is a leader. Okay, so what Crocmaster does, so bad guys have leaders, they don't have heroes. So he can move between cover and attack in cover once per turn, which means he can move and attack at the same time. He gets put into cover. Can move freely into any cover. He can move into cover that's occupied by you or by me. Cannot attack when not in cover. So that's the one thing. I cannot attack you guys. I can only attack you if I'm in the cover. Okay, and he's a squad leader. So squad leader, attached Vipers or Troopers take armor damage before he does. So I can take a Lucky to protect him. Okay, I actually suppose I should mention that I can't move the lackey and him into cover at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my Cobra infantry and attach it to him. Okay, and cool. And then that means that +1 to firepower and cover, +1 to vehicle attack added, adds 2 points to armor when attached to any Viper trooper or leader. Okay, so he's been attached to a leader, which means my leader gets 62. He also takes the damage instead of Crocmaster. So I want to bring that into play. And then my gunner on the water moccasin is going to try and attack your let's see. Let him try to attack. I don't know who's the most dangerous here, because Shockwave can get me out of cover, but Scoop can lock me. Okay, let's see. I'm going to attack the cover. Let's see what happens. Okay, so that means that I am attacking with essentially 1 point to vehicle stats. Cool, which means I'm attacking with 6, and it's got a gunner. So yeah, I'm attacking. I've just got to roll within 10. Easy. 9. I hit you. Sweet. Okay.
Game over, man. Now, game over.
Yeah. So now I'm going to roll the defense for the cover.
Don't go to the light.
I've got to hit a 1 for it to evade. So let's see. Okay, it misses the evade, which means it takes 10 damage. So I destroyed this piece of cover, and which means 10 damage goes over to Rob. So Scoop takes 5 damage. So he's sitting on 55. Cool. Yeah.
Splash damage.
Splash damage.
You're gonna add a new color to that yellow jumpsuit.
Red.
Enemy turn is now over. Cool. And now
bro,
it's your turn,
if Crocmaster showed up, like all of a sudden it's not safe to go into the water. Because
it's not safe to be in cover, technically.
No, I'm saying, like, I mean, isn't it somehow assumed that a Shockmaster, that's our love child. If Crocmasters entered the fray, all of a sudden, aren't the waters infested with Crocs?
Technically, yeah. So
or is he like some kind of Viper commander in this situation? And he's kind of not Crocmaster in speciality. Like he's Crocmaster in name and not function.
Yeah, so what I want to do, that's why I'm playing testing this with you guys, because that's the kind of feedback that helps a lot, because that's something I wanted to do, but I was worried about overcomplicating the stats and what it was for. Yeah, so but like in this case, he should actually have a water drop on his card, which means he doesn't get affected by swamp terrain or water terrain. He's natural in there. And I didn't finish the card in time, but he also has crocodiles. I've got alligators and crocodiles for him.
Well, okay, Scoop, we're gonna get chewed up if we stay put. Unfortunately, we gotta create some misdirection. Do you have any smoke grenades or anything in that?
I can film them.
You can film them, yeah. You
can film, dude. Don't take away from your filming, hey? Because in your movement space, yeah, like that thing is actually a very powerful thing, because it also works on vehicles as well. Remember, you're seeing the weakness in the vehicle, so
you can slow the vehicle down and make it easier for Shockwave to shoot it.
Exactly.
Hell yeah, maybe we should do that. I don't know. It's a tough decision.
Okay, well,
I
think Shockwave's backpack is large enough to just have a cornucopia of goodies. I say we pop smoke and retreat to a more hidden location.
Okay, so you want to move from move from cover to cover, hey?
Yeah. What is that tree still available?
Yeah, very much so.
Get behind that tree you didn't like earlier.
Well, hey,
real good now.
Regaining the elements of surprise is what I'm trying to get at now.
So the cool thing about so you move from cover to cover, which is great. That protects you, and it also makes it that I have to now focus on 2 different things to attack, so I can't just focus on the one thing. Rob, technically, I
didn't mean to leave him behind, but okay.
Well, technically, you haven't left him behind. It's just that part of the cover is damaged. So if anybody attacks that side now, they're going to attack Scoop exclusively, unless they go for the cover. It's also fair to know that if you destroy cover, the cover is gone, which means the enemy can't use it either. That also means you guys can also attack cover if you want to.
Not to poke holes in the mechanic. I mean, I know I'm being absolutely awful about that, Paul. You're doing your damn best.
That's what I want.
I'm like,
it's just play testing.
Yeah, I want to play. But wouldn't they move together? Like, unless you're Snake Eyes, you're gonna solo.
If you guys decided,
if we were a squad,
if you squatted yourself up, yes.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Did we need to do that?
That is a thing we would have had.
That is a movement thing. So you've already moved to cover, so you guys can't move into a squad. If you guys move together, if you guys squad up, then you guys can move together. And you
damn it, man! I don't know the rules of life. Shockwave.
Well, you're learning, dude. It's cool, man. Okay. So you guys, Rob, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna try and attack from cover, bro?
I think that's probably a better option. I think.
Oh yeah, you get +1. Oh, that's the other thing. Sorry, I keep forgetting to do this. But you get +1. So let me roll for you. If you get up to 4, oh, well, never mind. Okay. Well, hold on.
Actually, goes wild.
Who do you want to attack? Do you want to attack?
I would probably attack I'd probably attack the boat. I mean, the boat seems like the biggest threat still.
Okay, sweet. I'm gonna roll. Okay, you rolled 7, so unfortunately you missed the boat.
Goes wild.
Goes wild.
Wide.
Wide. Shot goes wide. Cool. I get to draw in a card. I draw. Pity Andrew disappeared. He would have loved this one.
I can guess.
Copperhead.
Ooh. Okay. We are really getting outnumbered now. We should never.
I know Copperhead's always synonymous with the water moccasin, but like the file card makes it seem like, he's not exclusively a boat driver. This guy loves anything with an engine. Like, I think Copperhead should also have like an assigned terrestrial vehicle, like a big old truck. Yeah.
So, all of Copperhead's stats get +2 when attached to a water vehicle. Will survive vehicle destruction undamaged. So just so you guys know, if you destroy a vehicle, it does damage to everybody attached to it. You can actually kill somebody if they're connected to it. I'll roll for that.
Except Copperhead, who always deploys
Copperhead will survive. He's a vehicle driver. He's a driver. That's his skill. So he will survive a vehicle being destroyed. He adds 4 to all vehicle stats when attached to a water-based vehicle. So in this case, this vehicle is already capped. But that's just for today's play session. But this vehicle's already capped at 10 for damage. So yeah, so now it gets an additional 4 for movement. So woohoo, it's going to be harder to hit now. And yeah, cool, sweet. So he does that, and Crocmaster is going to do something very sneaky now. He's going to move into this cover now, and he can attack at the same time.
Oh man, I left the camera guy to deal with a close quarters altercation. Could I at least have left you my giant axe of a knife?
Okay, so one thing, this was supposed to be on here and it isn't on here. I don't know what happened to it. But the scary thing about a stalker is a stalker.
FYI, Crocmaster's character class is Stalker. That's going to get a little confusing. But you know what? It occurs to me,
Stalker is a gunner.
There's no ways that Hasbro's going to, at least not in mass media, use the codename Stalker. I think that's probably why we got a Wines brother playing Ripcord in Rise of Cobra. Because, of course we want to see Stalker. But the name to an uninitiated audience member is going to sound, distasteful, should we say?
Really
that word has taken on a new meaning in recent decades. So, quickfire topic to everyone, and everyone in the chats, and everyone commenting on this video and podcast later into the future. What would be a great alternative code name for Stalker? Same character, but give us a code name that gives us the vibe of Stalker without sounding like a stalker. I'll let that one simmer for a while. Anyways, let's carry on with the game.
Cool. Okay, so Crocmaster comes into your cover, and sorry about this. He is meant to actually have a 1 stat, and his whole thing is that if he comes into cover, he like all stalkers have this. Snake Eyes is a stalker as well. At least the ninja version of him is.
They kept that one out of the movie.
Yeah, so basically what happens is if a stalker gets into cover and they've got a very low attack, but if they get it, they can actually, they can kill whoever's in cover. They can, because it's a sneak attack essentially.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, so let's see if I can roll one for Crocmaster to kill Scoop in my cover.
All of a sudden, I'm
you're lucky. It's botched.
Oh,
thank goodness. But I'm really regretting the fact that I went easy on that first Viper. I mean, we needed to just kill them as they popped up.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's because you're feeling overwhelmed at this point. There's so much stuff against us right now.
So now this is where the audience is going to come in, not today, but on the next Bergforce battle. The audience is going to be able to support you guys by giving you cards like ammo drops, which will improve your weapon power. They'll be able to drop off vehicles. There's even a radio that might call in something very helpful, like an airstrike from a dragonfly. Yeah, we need an airstrike, But yeah, guys, so that's just like the basic of Bergforce battles. I didn't want to make it last the whole way. This is, I did make this a bit of an unwinnable scenario because I wanted to show the audience members how integral they are to the system.
And this can go absolutely crazy.
Absolutely wrong. But like my vision with this, what I'd like to try and do is make these cards, like over the next month or two, is make these cards available to our Bergforce members so that you guys can actually print them out and play with them. I will be simplifying the system even more so that you guys have tokens and all kinds of things that you can use on the board. And then just as we streamline it. But this is something, and I thought it would be fun for us to play every now and then on an episode, and then get the audience members to, once they've got a bit of a better idea of the game, they can, the audience exclusive version means that they get to do airdrops and things like that.
I think it's a really great start. I mean, it seems like an interesting system, and I think as you go along and kind of refine things, I mean, I think definitely a lot of play testing to get to a point where it makes sense, and it's easy to explain to people who don't know what's going on. Yeah, I think it's a good start.
Thanks, man.
Paul. You surpassed my expectations, and they're typically quite high, of course. But extra points for using action figure photography for your cards.
Thanks, man.
Like,
yeah, so that's always
I circle back to that point, and that's just so delicious for a fan of the toys first and foremost. Like, art is terrific, and it shows a lot of effort on the part of the creators and investment, paying a professional artist. But art itself it's subjective, isn't it? Like, you can get cards that appeal to you, an entire deck that the art style is rad, or that you feel kind of lukewarm about. And I think I recall a digital card game. Like, there was an app, wasn't there? There was a deck building game, an online G.I. Joe deck building game. And I kind of wasn't loving the art. It was very airbrushy and kind of...
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
smooth, and the shading was like very digitally done. At least you can't go wrong when you've got toys. Hey,
exactly. And so that's the point. Like that. I mean, I had to use an image of Crocmaster because I didn't have a nice photo of him to hand. And I couldn't find the cool one I took for the poster mock-up, the knockoff poster that we did.
Whatever, man.
You'll
have plenty of good screen grabs once I get off my butt and release Renegades Part 3. Good old Crocmaster. It's a nice feature.
I think probably one of the best comments so far, Hans says, once you get the game time to stay within about 20 minutes, it becomes very marketable. Like fast playing, fast action.
Yes.
I think it's once you know the game well, what the cards do, you can kind of like do. Okay, I move now. I do this. I do that. Yeah, for sure.
And I also want to do stuff like, I'm scared of saying this publicly now, but I also want to do stuff like have missions, like objects that you have to go and get from. that.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah,
Like,
so
what the hell? What the hell was Shockwave and Scoop doing in this
What
one?
were
exactly.
we doing here?
Let's
Exactly.
be real.
Yeah,
but
I think
we've got some
because
great-
objectives make it. There's a reason why you're there. So either you kill everyone, or your objective is to actually attain something. And I suppose you do tests or something to be able to get it. And if you get it, and then you do another test to say escape. And if you can do that while surviving against the enemies, then you win.
Yeah,
Truth and
exactly.
Flag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We got some
yeah.
suggestions from the audience as to Stalker's alternative code name. Great ones, if you ask me. Gaz suggests Predator.
Predator.
Yeah, man, it's good, and it hasn't been used yet.
It is good. It is good.
It will definitely get some callbacks to a certain alien life form with a pussy mouth. Anyways, Matt says Creeper, but I believe that's a joke. And Bart got some crowd pleasing with Snake Eater.
Yep,
Nice.
which is Snake, which is an operation in Metal Gear. Operation
Yeah.
Snake.
Paul and Rob, do you have any suggestions?
Undercover brother. I don't know, dude. I was thinking like I mean, pimp is also like not the best way, but
What?
Sort of
Why?
because it alludes to his background a little bit, you know.
Stalker's far more than like an ex-gang member.
Jungle,
Yeah.
actually, Panther.
Panther could be cool.
Yeah, because he's the jungle cat. But then I just
Yeah.
realized that also has a connotations.
I
Right.
know my mind went to Panther as well, kind of evoking where the file card is driving at. But like it's like saying everything short of actually just saying he's a Black Panther.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, a similar creature, a leopard. I mean,
What
I suppose
about Jungle
leopards-
Cat? Jungle
Jungle
is
Cat?
actually kind of cool. Yeah.
Oh,
Jungle
jaguar is a good one.
Jaguar.
And
I'm
I
just
mean,
making animals up.
Jungle
We're
Cat.
just making it.
Jungle Cat to me sounds like he would be more appropriate if he was dressed like Destro. I mean, that's a very 70s disco name. Okay, man, I'm a Jungle Cat. Yeah.
This was a real
Hans-
pimp.
Hans suggested Ocelot, but personally, I can't get Revolver Ocelot out of my head from Metal Gear.
That would be
So-
difficult to kind of like
Divorced from
separate
from-
that. Yeah, divorce that.
Yeah, and
Jaguar is good, but I'm gonna
I
conjure
like
up
Jaguar.
the car. Bloody hell, this is tough.
It's really difficult. I mean, haven't they in other versions
Nice
called him
blade.
Lieutenant Stalker? Is that an option, or is that
Sergeant
other
Stalker?
characters?
But
was-
it doesn't
I
get
mean-
away from the fact that you've got this
You still got the word
dis-
stalker in there.
distasteful word, which is a shame.
I think
mean,
people just get over yourselves. There's nothing wrong with the word stalker. It has a lot of different meanings.
or
Nightblade.
perhaps in the same vein that like
Knife blade.
like you seldom in the Marvel movies hear their actual character names being used. Like it's always Cap or Rogers or Steve.
yeah, but that
They
kind
never
of
say,
defeats the point.
You
of
are
having a
Captain
secret
America,
identity.
unless they're being kind of tongue in cheek and calling him Captain America. But like, you could call him Lonzo or Sergeant Wilkinson.
You could
you
do
can
that,
get
but doesn't that
around.
kind of defeat the point of having secret code names?
Yeah, but in the case of a codename that you want to get away from, I think I'd sooner hear him being called Wilkes or Lonzo or Sergeant than being called something else like Predator or Jungle Cat.
But I mean, it's
or-
like I've been saying, and other people, it's context. Stalker as Bart says, stalker in a military setting, it means something different.
But why? Why then were they so shy? Why did we get Ripcord? It's so arbitrary.
Because of the wider, I suppose, societal context of it. That's the only reason. But it's like to keep it. He's stalker.
No, he's not.
You can't change it.
No, look,
The
Stalker
question you
is.
should be asking is why did he get Roadblock in retaliation? Because The Rock is cooler? I don't know.
On the way out, guys, I'd love to do some community shouts.
Me too. So
Shout
when you're
it.
done,
Big scaling back from the week before where I was on 3 other shows. This week past, I was only on 1, but it was a very good
Whoa.
one. It was me and Chief again joined forces to talk about the second half of the Impel trading card set from
Nice.
1991. Yeah, great set. I'm so happy that I've got a complete run of these cards. And Chief's always an absolute blast to chat to. So check it out on Armor Geekdom, his channel. Or is it Armor Geekdom? Either way, the link will be in the description down below. And the other community shout I'd like to make is to the fellas from Podcast from the Pit. I see you guys, and I love your coverage of the shows that we are with you in spirit at. Obviously, we can't be at Kentuckiana or Joe Fest, but it's really cool to hear your coverage of it. And lovely to see podcasts banding together, because the guys from Anything Joe's rented out a cinema for a private screening of Snake Eyes, and they invited the boys from Podcast from the Pit to the screening. That's wonderful. Of course, I had a private screening myself for me and Sergeant Slaughter's Slaughterhouse, because there was no one else in it. And I'm sure we paid far less to reserve that cinema. Yeah, that's me for community. Yo,
Cool.
Joe.
I just want to make a shout out to this awesome gentleman. Grinded Jim, you are now on the Patreon honor roll. Thank you for joining the Berg Force.
Hell yeah, dude.
You're part of the Berg now.
Thanks for commenting, Grindhead. Great to have you not only part of the Berg Force, but just part of the community at large. Yeah. It rocks to hear comments, particularly on these podcast episodes. It's nice to keep the conversation going. I do my best to respond to the ones that are more than just praise for like what we do at Joburg. Like if you have an argument that you want to put forth, I will respond as best I can. But I wind up not even hitting the thumbs up to most of these comments. I like hit the love, because there's a lot of love shown. So thank you to Grindhead. Thank you to everyone who comments down below. And hey man, if you don't mind, it doesn't take a minute of your time, just hit that like button. Yeah. So small channels like ours can grow in the YouTube algorithm,
Yeah.
Make our channel grow. Our channel
algorithm. Anyway, so guys, if you want to be part of the Berg Force, the link is in the description below. If you want to check out our awesome merchandise, that link is also in the description below, and you can get some of our custom made stuff, which is only available on G.I. Joburg, the merch, and nowhere else. And hopefully I can get some of these cards to our Berg Force members. There is a new tune that will be hitting you guys in the next week. That's for our Berg Force guys. This is just a Berg Force update. And as I mentioned earlier, there are lots of cool videos. There's lots and lots of cool videos actually coming out. There is unboxings. There is toy openings. There are.
Sorry, guys. Like sometimes the South Africanness in us must come out.
Like,
there is lots of good contents coming out on these channels. Yeah, flip international.
And we even have a play motion.
It will knock your jean pants right off.
Right off the block. Yeah, I'm gonna fucking Yeah. Anyway, and we got a play motion coming from one of our Berg Force members, so that's a special missions coming in very soon as well. So
ladies love our accents. Absolutely,
they love our accents. They love it when we speak foreign.
They can't stop talking to us and coming around after work.
Well, I must say that one of the first words that Kim learnt on her earliest trip to South Africa was that self-same South African equivalent of the C-bomb.
Really?
Oh yeah, absolutely. She worked at the Children's Red Cross Hospital in Rondebosch.
Oh, and kids are just throwing that shit.
Bro, those kids, man. Well, they come from the rough side of the tracks, me bro, and they just drop this language, and she's like, "What did he just say?" And the nurse comes up to Kim, and she's like, he told you something rather rude there." Yeah. Very unsavory indeed. And if you'd like to write us in a more long-winded format, I love that even more. A real South African hero at gmail.com. And if you'd like to include a voice note we might even play it on the show. Hey, wouldn't that be fun? Be immortalized on an episode of Joe Berg.
Hell yeah.
And that's it, boys. I'm spent.
I'm also spent for today. I think we had a really awesome episode, and
Thank you.
This was a pleasant surprise. I love what you've done so far, and I'm looking forward to trying this out again.
Cool, man. I'm glad to hear that, and I'm excited to get it into the hands of the Berg Force as well, so that they can play with us every now and then, and maybe help you guys get yourselves out of the shit, so to speak. Like, oh guys, I just found an ammo drop. Here we go, and then you guys get a gun buff, an attack buff for that round, and then you can do some damage.
Hey, look, I would have just taken a nice heavy MG to riddle that bloody water moccasin.
Exactly. Hey, but that's the thing, maybe, next time I might make it that you can find things in cover. You never know.
Hey,
I'm working out all of this balance.
Friends, that's such a video game contrivance.
I've looked behind this tree and I found
it. That's
shotgun shells,
grenade launcher.
I'm exploring a tomb that no man has entered for hundreds of years. Ooh, shotgun ammo. Yeah. No, I dig it. And that's what I want it to be. I want it to be fun and silly like that. Quickly on the way out, Matthew Comstock in the comments asked, "Is there a Kickstarter in the future of this game?" You know what? Let's take baby steps first. Let me make the game proper. Let me make it something decent that is actually a product that works. Let's play test the crap out of it, and if it's successfully play tested, and people are excited about it, then I would definitely look at doing a Kickstarter. Obviously, we won't be able to use the G.I. Joe.
Yeah, everyone will be able to help us come up with new names. It'll be great.
You can have placeholders, and that kind of kills it for me. Like, I'd rather this thing be
G.I. Joe, but
be on the side and bootleg and under the table and not public, not out there, just so that we can use these characters and these images. Like, if you make it a Kickstarter, you'd have to do it the official route and avoid the legalities.
Well, there are some. There is an angle that I am willing to approach with this that I haven't seen being done before, and that I'm going to play close to the chest. But that may allow me to
make it all 8-bit art, like our avatars,
and then people
make sure
you
don't
stickers.
use. Well, make sure you don't use any characters like version 1 outfit, because Hasbro execs and legal department, they don't have a long memory at all. Okay. Yeah. But they certainly would not catch wires to like a V2 or a V3 version.
Yeah. I mean, they have Marine gung-ho coming in.
Exactly. Like, we know. The diehard fans would know. Like, yeah, absolutely. It's lime green. What is it? Like canary yellow with an orange hat. We know that's Mega Marine's gung-ho.
Yeah, and that's a damn cool gung-ho, I gotta say.
No, anyway. Scoop does not have a version 2, but he was never popular enough to get more than one version. Thanks for rubbing
certainly
it
not
in.
Popular enough to be on Hasbro's radar. So
hey, you can just stay first version.
Yeah. Okay,
but cool,
there are
guys.
exceptions.
Yeah. However, with that said, I think we better jump out the door before we start another podcast on the heels of this one.
I'm in the mood for round 2. I've actually got the action figures in front of me. The third member of the party has joined, and it's kind of the trump card because it's the silent assassin himself.
How can you lose against that stalker?
What's his name?
No. I didn't bring Snake Eyes. Forget
Storm Shadow.
The greatest character in the G.I. Joe Origins.
Scoop.
That's right. Storm Shadow.
Yes, Mr. Koji himself. Oof. Excellent. Anyways, gentlemen, that's discussion for another time. When you boys see that film, we'll have some words. It'll be completely irrelevant by that point.
End of the month. Episode 214. I don't know.
I'm just going to have to enjoy his performance in the series called The Warrior for now. So
sick.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, guys, have an awesome afternoon. Thank you to everyone for joining us. Thank you to everyone for listening or watching. And yeah, stay safe out there.
Yo,
Joe Bird.
Oh, jeez. Don't quit your art/comics jobs.